department coming out of high school. 4th in the state in the 100 meters. Play action. Daniels heaves one long. And it is caught for the touchdown. Neighbors again. The deep sauce from 40 yards out.
Hello and welcome to Tigers Roar. I am Jonathan Poche alongside Buddy Sanji here on Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV. You saw the 8th touchdown from Jaden Daniels. He threw it to Malik Neighbors, the best quarterback in the nation, throwing to the best wide receiver in the nation, in my opinion. LSU handles business 56-14 against Georgia State. They look forward to a weekend matchup against the Texas A&M Aggies, now with an interim head coach, Elijah Robertson. Jimbo Fisher got the boot. But, man, it was a good showing for Jaden Daniels, kind of go leading up into the game. A lot of people have the questions, would Garrett Nussmeier get some reps at practice for the early exit when LSU had a huge lead on Georgia State? But the game didn't start that way, Bud, man. Into the second quarter, it was tied 14-14. Gave Jaden Daniels a long time to play. Took all the reps, had 8 touchdowns, 6 through the air, 2 on the ground. Bud, man, continues to put up video game numbers. Historic numbers, ties Joe Burrow for 8 touchdowns in a game. Outstanding performance, and really going to be playing for the Heisman this weekend against Texas A&M.
Hope everybody doing well as we are taping the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. We've got plenty to be thankful for. Hopeful that you do as well. Bring it in the right way with your family. And pretty incredible, JP. 36 passing touchdowns. Let me see how sharp you are today. You know how many he had last year total?
No, I do not.
17 for the year.
Wow.
Had 17 and 3 INTs. This year, 36 touchdown passes, only 4 INTs, 10 rushing touchdowns, 1 fumble, 46 total touchdowns, only 5 giveaways. But here is the skinny on this Tuesday. I know everybody wants to give them the Heisman in Week 10, Week 11, and Week 12. I just think it's a little more complicated in that because TV and networks and conferences all get into lobbying. Is Jaden Daniels the best player in the country and best quarterback in the country? All of us here and in the SEC, I think without a doubt, yes. Malik Neighbors, the same thing. Best wide receiver in the country. Will they pull the duo prize like Burrow and Chase did with the Heisman and the Biletnikoff? We've got to wait to see. But it has been crazy, crazy. I joked at the end of last week that this defense at LSU is so bad that Georgia State would score 21 or more and keep Jaden Daniels in the game. Little icy handshake at the end. Hey, Coach, let me tell you something. Steve Spurrier said it best, okay? My job is to score. Your job is to stop me. And did you think they played him a little series too long? I thought it was about the appropriate time with the 56-14. But this weekend, Michael Penix of Washington plays Washington State. Obviously, Oregon and Bo Nix play Oregon State, LSU at A&M. And whoever wins and goes on to the next weekend, those networks are going to be pushing them. And right now, I feel a lot of love on the West Coast with Bo Nix. A lot of pushing. We'll see what happens, but certainly a special year for those two guys.
We're doing some highlights from this past Saturday, LSU, Georgia State. We'll go ahead and ask the truck to go ahead and play those, and we'll continue the conversation about LSU football. Ben, we talked about it. LSU is going to start off down 7 in these highlights, but we'll strike back and not take the foot off the pedal, really till the end.
Well, here's, once again, Jaden Daniels, and he just flows so effortlessly. He looks like he's on skates. And once again, JP, just having a great year. And here's the first touchdown of the day for them.
Yeah, the run after the catch. 3 wide receivers, over 100 yards for LSU. Here's the first one for Neighbors. He had an outstanding game, making himself look like the best receiver in the country. Has the most receiving yards per game, most receiving yards as a receiver in the country. Still, people want to throw Marvin Harrison Jr. out. There's a touchdown for Jaden Daniels. Want to throw Marvin Harrison Jr. into the conversation for Heisman. But Malik Neighbors, Jaden Daniels certainly have a special year.
Well, look, LSU loves to go empty and have the quarterback draw. Once again, it gets a touchdown, and here's a nice tackle in space for the Tigers. I thought they started off a little weak on defense, but got better, JP.
I agree. Started off a little sluggish, but did play out. A lot of struggles around the league playing down to competition this past weekend, but LSU gets another score right here. To the Panthers, but this would end the scoring for Georgia State, and LSU would just take off on offense.
No doubt about it. Once again, here is Daniels, and we're going to start this drive. And you know the thing about Malik Neighbors and all these receivers, they run so well after the catch.
Yeah, it starts with good timing out of the break, receives the ball in space, and then, great after the catch.
And, of course, here we go, Kyron Lacey. A lot of people trying to hope that he comes back. I don't know. I think Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. are definitely going to go in high picks. What do you think Kyron Lacey might do?
I think Kyron Lacey does have some room to improve. Can be the number one guy if he comes back next season. His touchdown, a great stretch for the end zone right there by Brian Thomas Jr. Back to Lacey. A great number 3 for this team. Could be the number one guy if he comes back. He does have another year of eligibility with that COVID year.
Brian Thomas Jr., once again, we asked the question how good he can be. JP, I think he's definitely a first-round pick at the bottom, along with Neighbors, who's probably mid to 15.
Yep, absolutely agree. The duo from LSU, absolutely going to the first round, both guys. Here's another touchdown from Daniels. A great job right there. Look, when guys are running open along the goal line, it's all about timing, get to a tight window. The window wasn't tight, but Daniels was on time. Great accurate throw right there for touchdown.
First touchdown catch for Mark Wade, tight end from St. Louis. Hadn't got a lot of PT, has been in short yardage situations. I know that's a trail for 84 right there.
Yeah, 1 catch, 3 yards for a touchdown. Still great for Mark Wade to get that touchdown.
Yeah, and LSU has not utilized the tight end as much as they probably will next year. Just so many great wide receivers. And here we go with a nice sack. I think Mason Smith. How about that, folks? Right. Mason and Perkins with the half sack there.
Yeah, Obi Ogofu, Mason Smith both had half sacks. Perkins had tackle for loss. Xavier Jones also had the sack. I think that's a replay of the play we just saw. Jordan Jefferson also had a pretty good game, Bud, man. All right, him up for that defense.
This is the key as you go into the end of the season and the bowl season. Can you get better on the defense? And obviously, who's coming back? 35, is he coming back? 0, is he coming back? And is 18 coming back? And then, of course, they push Daniels in here to get the rushing touchdown.
Yeah, that tush push, that sets up the 7th score for Jaden Daniels. And here comes the 8th. You'll see it, that intro highlight. It is the long pass, which really so much improved from last season. But, man, you heard him talk about in the offseason. What did Jaden Daniels want to improve? He wanted to push the ball down the field. The deep ball has certainly been one of his most accurate passes. Is one of his accurate weapons this season. And right there, great adjustment, great catch right there by Malik Neighbors.
Of course, Malik Neighbors has really asserted himself. And, man, what an accomplishment. Look, I think Neighbors is stretching out. Marvin Harrison Jr. Is with Ohio State. They play Michigan this weekend, of course. We'll be watching that closely. Problem, though, both games at 11 o'clock in the morning. Do you think that takes away some of the eyes on J.D. and Malik Neighbors, especially in the Midwest and northern part of the country?
I certainly do, but not for LSU fans. They'll have their bourbon and the Cheerios, getting ready for that early kickoff, 11 a.m. ESPN. No Jimbo Fisher, but Elijah Robinson will be the interim head coach for the A&M Aggies, who come into Baton Rouge for the last home game, senior day. Some guys still have an opportunity to might take a couple pictures on a senior day. Josh Williams, one of those guys. We'll talk a lot about that a little bit later on in this program. We'll let you guys hear from head coach Brian Kelly in the next segment. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Tigers Roar here on Pelican Sports TV.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Right now, during the season of inspiration at Team Mazda, get 1.9% financing for 60 months on a new Mazda CX-5, or get 0.9% financing on the all-new 24 Mazda CX-90. Save thousands on over 150 new Mazdas now on sale at Team Mazda.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar. Don't forget, check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. We keep all the Tigers Roars archived for your viewing pleasure. So while you're at the page, click the like button, the notification, and the subscribe button so you get notified every time we drop something new right there on Pelican Sports YouTube page. But man, talking about the Heisman Trophy, it was a 4-horse race. Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, and Jordan Travis. Unfortunately, Jordan Travis, rough injury this past weekend, so now it's down to 3, so to say. Bo Nix had some late surge, and he's the one that's kind of neck and neck with Jaden Daniels. All 3 quarterbacks do have a big opponent this upcoming weekend in quote-unquote rivalry games. So, in your opinion, Bud, man, is Jaden Daniels performing for the Heisman Trophy this upcoming weekend?
You know, it's interesting. Obviously, you look at the stats. I think total yardage now, he's over 1,000 yards more. When you throw in, he became a 1,000-yard rusher this past weekend. 10 touchdowns rushing, 36 passing, only 4 INTs. JP, this is incredible stats. But the winner of Washington and Oregon, if they play in the conference championship, they're going to have an extra Saturday to get a lot of pub.
Yep.
I guarantee you, folks, there's going to be a lot of push from the networks to push Bo Nix. If Oregon beats Washington and gets in the Final Four, I think Nix would probably be right there with Jaden Daniels. Other than that, I think he's better than Penix. Penix numbers, you didn't mention Marvin Harrison Jr., who only had 3 receptions for 30 yards last week. So Michigan, Ohio State, big game at 11. Yeah. LSU at Texas A&M. We haven't really mentioned this about this. Everybody's been talking about the Heisman. But LSU wants to win this football game. Now, look, we have all gravitated to talk about the Heisman, but Brian Kelly don't want to find out over the Thanksgiving holidays and going into the bowl layoff that LSU is 8-4. They've got to win this football game. Yep. A&M is not easy to project. They've got a bunch of 5-stars on the D-line. Offensive line got to protect. But I think right now he's there, but who knows? I had an over and under for last week. Yeah. On Jaden Daniels' total yardage, I put it at 439. It went over 500. What's your over and under for Jaden Daniels' yardage this weekend?
It's got to be around 450. I mean, he's going to be right around the 400s, the 500s. But, man, it's really about what the voters are looking for. Are they going to vote for the best player in college football? Are they going to vote for the best player on the best team in college football? Marvin Harrison Jr., obviously outstanding receiver for an undefeated Ohio State team. Penix, quarterback in an undefeated Washington team. Bo Nix with Oregon. Look, RG3, Tim Tebow, and Lamar Jackson all won the Heisman. They were the most valuable player on their team, best players in college football. So I think the groundwork's been already laid, in my opinion. He's by far the most electric player to watch in college football. The stats, if you're going by numbers, you can't give it to anybody else, the Heisman, besides Jayden Daniels. But here's a guy who is going to promote his quarterback and give a little pub and do a little publicity, some lobbying for his quarterback. Here's head coach Brian Kelly talking about his quarterback, Jayden Daniels, their performance against Georgia State, and looking forward to Texas A&M. Here's head coach Brian Kelly right here on Tigers Roar.
I will take a look back at this weekend, seeing Wilson wasn't here on another historic evening in Tiger Stadium. 8 touchdowns. I'll say this. First of all, from a team perspective, I was really happy with how our team played up to their standard. Those are difficult games. We saw across college football how some teams, really struggled to play up to their standard. When you step out of the SEC, I think, our football team did a really good job against a team that, is difficult to play against. Georgia State has got a good football team. They're well coached. They're bowl eligible. They're going to win games. So pleased with, the overall performance. And, again, an incredible evening for Jayden Daniels and the wide receivers. Obviously we know about what he did, tying Joe Burrow's record for 8 touchdowns. He was named the SEC Player of the Week again. I think that's for the 5th time this year that he's won that weekly award. Again, #1 in the nation in a number of categories. He continues to play at an incredibly elite level and the best player in college football. So great weekend leading into our last home game, and it's we want to be able to honor our seniors in this game, and certainly playing an outstanding football team in Texas A&M. A team that is ultimately talented on both sides of the ball, skilled players, outstanding defense, ranked as one of the best defenses in the SEC. I think it's leading in total defense, #1 in rush defense, outstanding defensive line. I think one of the best, if not the best, linebacker in Cooper. This will be a great challenge for our offense, and then certainly for our defense with their skill players and our ability to certainly play a complete 4 quarters of football. So should be an exciting matchup. They always are. It's a game that certainly our last home game in Tiger Stadium. We're looking forward to the challenge, and it should be a great football game. So with that, we'll open it up to questions.
Here, when you got here 2 years ago, some of the guys that you'll honor this weekend, is there anything that you kind of reflect upon, or how emotional that might be for some of the guys when you got here and this will be their last game here?
Yeah, I got to start with the first meeting, with these guys in terms of, their commitment to our process and building a foundation for this football team. There haven't been many opportunities for me to thank them. These are the opportunities that you get a chance to thank those guys that have helped build the foundation for our football program. So this will be that opportunity that I get.
Brian, obviously the circumstances are completely different because it was last season, but was there anything that you learned from losing to Texas A&M at the end of the regular season last year that you want to maybe apply to this week in order to avoid a loss here at the end of the season?
Yeah, I mean, the circumstances are different, on the road versus being at home. Certainly, we had, it was our first year of, learning how to deal with success. We already wrapped up the SEC West title. I think maybe we didn't handle success the right way. Certainly that's not the case this year, so circumstances a little bit different. I think our football team has a great deal of respect for their opponent and have played consistently to the standard necessary. So I just think that this has all been about, leaving a legacy, and that is another opportunity to win 10 games. And they have that chance to finish the season strong, and this is an important game for them.
Hey, Coach, right here. Malik Neighbors is first in yards and also yards per game. He's fourth in touchdowns, and he's sixth in the nation in receptions per game. Do you think he should be joining Jaden in New York for a chance to win the Heisman?
Yeah, those are pretty lofty numbers, but I think you have to include, Brian Thomas's numbers, and Brian, I think, rivals Marvin Harrison's numbers right now, and he's in conversation for the Heisman. I think if you take both my receivers, those two and what they have done could easily be in that conversation. So if Marvin Harris isn't in that conversation, I don't know why, both Brian and Malik wouldn't be in that conversation. So again, all you have to do is look at the numbers. But I think that's probably why, if you want to look at numbers, Daniels' numbers are starting to pull away from everybody. He's nearly 1,000 yards in total offense ahead of the next candidate. So if we want to look at numbers, this race is starting to distance itself.
Yeah, Coach. You mentioned A&M's defensive line talent. Just what have you seen from them? What do you know about them? And obviously, what's the challenge for your offensive line?
Yeah, it's just that. First of all, there's depth on the defensive line. Physically gifted athletes at all levels, inside and out, and they have versatility. Their defensive linemen can play anything from a 0 technique to a 5 technique. Great versatility, great athleticism. As I mentioned, Cooper's all over the field. You got to know where he is. And that's the strength of their Texas A&M defense is the versatility, the depth that they play on the defensive line. They, and they're aggressive. Coach is an aggressive defensive play caller. They mix things up very well, especially their third down packages. You've got to be on your toes. You certainly have to do a really good job in protections and protecting the quarterback, and you've got to be able to find a way to mitigate some of the potential negative plays.
Coach, in this whole Heisman discussion, how much do you think strength of schedule should be part of the criteria?
Well, I think that there's so many different things that people look at, when they have a ballot. They're looking at strength of schedule. They're looking at wins and losses. They're looking at consistency and performance. And I think if you examine it, through, I think there's so many different components. But when you break it down, it's the eye test as well. So I could probably agree with a number of different components, but when a guy takes over a game in the manner that he has all year, I think that really shifts it more so than, really getting down to specifics. And I guess that's why it would be much more difficult if it was a non-Power 5, performance. They would kind of scrutinize that. All the candidates that are up for it are equal in terms of Power 5 candidates playing a high-level schedule.
Coach, a couple of quick ones if I could. Senior day, it's my understanding Josh Williams might have another year if he wants it, and then Kyron Lacey, somebody like that, could he have another year?
Sure.
Do you have some guys like that?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, and each year, we go through this process where, you could have a couple senior days. It's one of those kind of situations where, we're really working off of their academic calendar. not necessarily their eligibility calendar. So we want to be able to honor them off of their academic calendar and what they've done in the classroom. And so there is that opportunity that somebody could come back because we're still dealing with the COVID year as that additional year of eligibility. So like other stops that I've had along the way, I've had multiple pictures on senior day with players, and this could be the case as well.
That was head coach Brian Kelly talking about senior day, and a couple kids on the team, glad man, have an opportunity to take a picture on the field for senior day this season, but also return next year with another year of eligibility and come back.
Yeah, obviously people know that with the COVID year, everybody is getting extra years, and Josh Williams does have availability. He's going to be a successful person, whatever he involves, although you know he wants to give the NFL a shot because he can play special teams. And then a couple of other guys, the aforementioned Kyron Lacey. So we'll wait to see. Here's the interesting thing. D-line got to get better. Savion Jones got big, up to 280. Does he trim that weight and come back? Does he go pro? Mason Smith, as we know, big number 0. We finally highlighted him with a sack and a tackle behind the line. And then, of course, Mekhi Wingo. What's he going to do? With NIL, you can get some of those guys back with a nice little chunk of change for that last year. But there will be some decisions that have to be made, and LSU's got to kick it up a notch, certainly recruiting on the defensive end.
Yeah, we'll take another quick break here on Tigers Roar. We'll come back. We'll hear from the part 2 of Coach Brian Kelly's press conference leading up to Thanksgiving on Thursday, and, of course, Texas A&M this weekend at LSU. Senior Day at home. We have a whole lot more here on Tigers Roar. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Pelican Sports TV.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Celebrate this holiday season with the gift of a new Honda during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda. And now you can make no payments for 90 days on our biggest selection of Hondas this year, making this the happiest time of the year. Come save now at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements. And that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
The winning play is the Buy Here, Sell Here event at the Team Automotive Group. Buy here and save on hundreds of certified and pre-owned vehicles. Or sell here and we'll pay you top value. Buy here or sell here and you'll be the winner at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
we're back here on Tigers Roar. Thank you, Monty. Appreciate it. Talking some off-the-camera sports with my man Buddy Sanji here on Tigers Roar. Certainly appreciate you guys tuning in. I wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving as we tape here on the Tuesday before Turkey Day. LSU football knocks off Georgia State 56-14 this past weekend, and will face the Texas A&M Aggies for Senior Day at home this Saturday. Early kickoff, 11 a.m., so wake up early, turn on the ESPN, and enjoy the last home game for the LSU Tigers. Bud, man, talking about Coach Kelly, his first part of the press conferences we just showed in the last segment. If you missed that segment, go to our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. He's kind of given his 2 cents on the take of the Heisman Trophy, who he thinks should win it. Obviously, Coach Kelly's been around the league a long time, and he said he's never really seen anything like what Jaden Daniels is doing this season.
Well, I don't think any of us have. Look, a couple of records that were tied this last weekend, 8 touchdowns in a game. Burrow obviously did that against Oklahoma in that great run to winning it all in 2019. And the 5th time he's been the SEC offensive or co-offensive player of the week. Burrow also had 5 times. Look, numbers are out in the universe. I mean, now Bo Nix has played a weaker schedule. LSU's played a tougher schedule.
Yep.
Michael Penix and Bo Nix are going to split some votes.
Yep.
It's interesting. You talked about with Jordan Travis, in case you missed it, lower leg injury. He's out. That was a negative for Florida State. Now, do you think tonight's another CFP? Does the CFP vote Washington for, or are you keeping Florida State at 4?
No, they had to bump up Washington now for the playoff. They have to.
I think they will. But Washington and Oregon probably going to play. Michigan and Ohio State going to play this weekend. Whoever plays Iowa in the Big Ten championship is going to win.
Yep.
And, of course, as we know, Alabama, Georgia playing. SEC championship December 2nd. Heisman Trophy the next Saturday. Right now, I'd say 50-50 JD wins this thing, and 60-40 Malik Neighbors wins the Biletnikoff.
Well, we do have a part 2 of the Monday press conference from Coach Brian Kelly leading up to Turkey Day and Texas A&M this weekend. So I want you guys to hear from the head coach. Here is Brian Kelly right here on Tigers Roar.
And real quick, fans have wondered where has Whit Weeks been in terms of.
He's been injured. Yeah, he's been injured. He had an accident that left a nasty gash in his foot, and he wasn't able to play at the highest level. We could probably got him in the Georgia State game. That was my decision not to play him. I did not want to, put him in a game where he pops 2 or 3 of those stitches, and then we didn't have him for A&M. We're going to need him this weekend.
Hey, Brian. Logan Diggs, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't on the sideline on Saturday. Can you confirm if he was with the team and then his availability for this week?
He was with the team.
Okay.
Yeah, he was with the team. He should be available. He's been dealing with an upper body injury. He's in good stead with the team. So he was with us at the hotel. He was with us throughout. He may have popped inside for a little bit, but he was with us throughout the entire week of preparation. He tried, diligently on Thursday. We put him through a pretty good workout on Thursday. We just felt like, again, with the depth that we have at that position, we wanted him. He's a guy that initiates contact. He's a physical runner. We wanted him 100% for an A&M.
Coach, a 2-parter on your interior defensive line. Do you have a feel if Mekhi Wingo is going to come back for another year? And in recruiting, do you have a number between high school and transfer portal that you're going to need at that position? Because it's going forward, that could be one of your bigger needs.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to recruit Mekhi. Mekhi's got to make a decision, relative to whether he thinks, coming back for another year is in his best interests. We're obviously going to give him a lot of data in terms of what we think is in his best interest, and we'll let him and his family and those that are helping him make his decision, process through that. But yeah, he's in that boat of trying to make a decision, and we'll give him all the data that he needs and all the information. Certainly, we'd love to have him back. Yeah, I mean, so that position in itself, the defensive line, interior help is where we're looking, to help our football team. We think we're in a pretty good position at the edge of our defense. We need to get bigger, and so I think the defensive tackle position will be probably the area that you'll see us, move aggressively.
I believe our good friend Wilson wrote an article about this, but could you speak to the specifics of Jaden's off-season preparation or maybe in-season preparation with the VR headsets and the throwing in California? How much of that do you think has helped him make this leap?
Well, I think the mindset of a player and what he needs to do to move to that next level. Look, everybody has a choice, right? You can choose to be good. You can choose to be great. You can choose to be elite. He chose to be elite. And so then what are the steps that you have to do? And it's most of us just, in life, we're good with being really good. He wanted to be elite, and so he had to take some measures to get there. And it was early morning training. It was utilizing all of the modalities that were available to him, from VR to training in California to additional film study to footwork and training that he had not done before. So I would say that this was a choice of wanting to be elite, and he made those choices. We just provided him the resources necessary for him to get there.
Just a couple quick ones. Just curious what your thoughts are on, in your experience, facing a team like A&M that's kind of dealing with an interim situation, and just what you can expect from those kinds of teams and kind of playing, for a lot still. But just and then also secondary had a question about J.K. Johnson and how his recovery from his injury is going.
Yeah, so you could spend the day thinking about, well, A&M is without a head coach. What's their mindset? How are they going about this? And I've been in this long enough to know that whatever side of that they come out on really doesn't matter. It's about how we prepare. Because I just believe if we do a great job preparing and we perform at our level, we're going to have success. So I respect the question and understand why you would ask it, but we just have to focus on our preparation. We've got to prepare really well against a good football team. And so that's how we'll go about it. JK's making really good progress. It's an injury that requires time more than anything else, and the time element is giving him the opportunity. I think this week, I could be off by a few days, but I think he gets into the Alter G, which is the non-weight bearing treadmill, where he'll begin running, and so he's making pretty good progress.
Hey, Brent, back to the question about an interim. Are there any differences? I know it's just one game, but any differences you noticed with Texas A&M in the one game with an interim as opposed to what you prepared for with Jimbo?
No. There's the quarterback was different, without, Johnson being in there. But other than that, the offense is a little bit different. They tend to be in a little bit more of a, read option kind of mode. But other than that, it's still an aggressive defense. They still want to run the football. They still want to be balanced, but didn't see anything different from them. No.
What did you make of after the 14 points Georgia State scored to, shut them out the rest of the way? And then just over the past month, how do you assess defense and strides made?
Yeah, resiliency is probably the best way. We had a couple of false starts. We were anxious a little bit. They hit a ball down the field on one of our freshman corners who didn't play the ball in the air. We didn't fit a blitz. Other than that, we played pretty good defense. We tackled much better. our fits were excellent with our defensive line. I think the defensive line improvement has probably been the greatest in terms of the last month. And then we're just playing a lot of young players on the back end that are growing and getting better. And that's just a process of them getting out there and playing and getting experience, whether it's, Ashton Stamps or Javid Torviano, those guys just need to get out there and play. So I would say really good, progress with our defensive line, and then the young players in the back end of the defense getting more comfortable being out there. They were a little nervous early on, played a little tentative, and I thought they played a lot more aggressive when we allowed them to get up there and press and play more competitive. So saw some pretty good progress there. And I think the last thing that I will say is fourth down stops. We had very few fourth down stops earlier in the year. We've had a number of fourth down stops now over the past month, and that's a good sign.
And that was head coach Brian Kelly, part 2 of his press conference this past Monday as we tape here on the 21st of November, the Tuesday before Turkey Day. You heard Coach talking about the defense, how it's improved the last 4 or 5 games. What you didn't hear in this press conference was the clips we showed you. A reporter asked Coach Brian Kelly, what he was thankful for. He said the LSU team and how they were coachable and how they made progress. But also was asked, Bud, man, what dish that Coach Brian Kelly, outside of turkey and gravy, that he wanted his Thanksgiving table. And he responded with cranberry sauce. If that's not a northerner for you, I'm not sure what is. I'm a stovetop guy, but man, also really enjoy the sweet potato casserole. But on your Thanksgiving dinner, outside of turkey and gravy, what needs to be a dish on your Thanksgiving dinner table?
Well, Coach, look, we don't dig cranberry like all of you do up in the northern part of the country. Let's talk about potatoes. You mentioned sweet potato casserole with pecans.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody has these scalloped potatoes or the potato casserole. You got the turkey, you got the gravy. You got to get some Manda ham on that table. Green bean casserole. You like cornbread dressing? Or rice dressing.
Merlaton dressing. A little shrimp in the merlatons.
Little cornbread.
I'm a soft
all
dinner
the
roll.
desserts. We are going to certainly dive into all of that. And as most of you know, around football season, we have a lot of time. JP and I were talking. I snack a lot on Saturdays. So, quite frankly, I kind of be happy when this football ends a little bit. But, hey, women's basketball last night did win again. Angel Reese has not played the last couple of games. Men won 2 out of 3 in the Charleston Classic. They'll go again on Friday night. And obviously, we want all of you to realize we appreciate all of your loyalty and your patronage as we are over here at Old School Barbecue, thanking the good Lord for all the things that we have, JP.
That's exactly right. Before we get to this break, when we come back from break, I should say, we'll talk some LSU baseball. The champs are back in town. Fall ball is over. Head coach Jay Johnson at a press conference. We'll let you guys hear for a few minutes of that. But before we go to break, Bud, man, have a little scenario for you. This is off the cuff. You're not prepared for this. Okay, so we're going to go true 7-on-7 style. And who are you going to pick?
Okay.
2019 or 2023. So here you go. At quarterback, obviously, Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels. So we'll go through the 2019 team first. Burrow, Jefferson, Chase, Marshall, Edwards-Helaire, Moss, and you get one defender, so I gave you Clavon Chase on. That's 2019. 2023, you got Daniels, Neighbors, Thomas, Lacey, Diggs at the running back spot, Mason Taylor at tight end. I gave you Harold Perkins. Which 7 are you taking to win the 7-on-7, 2019 to 2023?
Great matchup. I never thought we'd have any kind of numbers close to Joe Burrow's. And we know Joe's ended up with 60 touchdowns. A lot of those were in the postseason. But I got to go with Joe Burrow in 19 simply because they went 15-0, the first SEC team to ever go 15-0. And because of that, I give the nod to the 2019 7-on-7.
I like where you're thinking, Bud, man. I would also give it to the 2019 team, but not a reason why you might think. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire was outstanding catching the ball at the backfield. He's another receiving threat for Joe Burrow. So either way you shake it, a great matchup, 2019-2023. Like we said, we never thought we'd see a quarterback performance like Joe Burrow 2019, but Jaden Daniels certainly special. And just think, if you're only doing 7-on-7, who's going to stop Jaden Daniels from running the football too? He'd be outstanding. Another quick break. We'll come back. We'll let you guys hear from the head coach of the LSU baseball team right here on Tigers Roar.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Now's the best time to experience Mazda during the season of inspiration at Team Mazda. For a limited time, make no payments for 90 days on your new Mazda. That's right, shop now, choose your new Mazda, and make no payments for 90 days at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Buggs Show.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar. You saw the intro bump right there. The LSU women's basketball team has begun play. Missing one of their stars, Bud, man. Angel Reese, there's something going on behind the scenes, whether it be GPA or money going to the head. Whatever it is, Coach Kim Mulkey want to nip it right in the bud and catch it early in the season. Hopefully, Angel Reese can kind of right the ship and get back, because she's such a dynamic player for Coach Kim Mulkey.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Of course, Michaela Williams, if you've not seen her yet, she is worth every nickel they charge to get in.
Oh, my goodness.
She is, I said she could possibly be better than Simone Augustus.
What, she put up 42 in a game?
She had 42 in a game, freshman record for LSU. Angel Reese, she's a diva. We know that. Had a lot of success last year, winning the Natty, and then all of the NIL stuff. Kim Mulkey is a bigger diva, and she is going to get that team straight. A lot of rumors about what happened in the locker room, maybe at halftime at Kent State. Who knows what's going on? She'll get that straight. Obviously, though, the one thing that you got to have, we know that you got to have a point guard that's going to make everybody better. Haley Van Lith is still transitioning. Morrow's doing a great job. Smith is a starter this year. Tried to play the big girl a little bit, Del Rosario. And so they've got a lot of talent, but ranked 7. Men finally have a winning record, but I don't know how many they're going to win. And, of course, baseball, as we alluded to, with Jay Johnson coming off. And this is going to be interesting, because you've got to tell those guys as soon as you come out there. And I always don't put a lot of stock in fall baseball, because it's different. Right. The guy might be on fire in November, but you got to make sure he's still got it in February all the way through summer. But they are loaded with some pitching and more lefties than ever before. Going to be a different team, and I don't think we'll ever see, in my lifetime for sure, two guys like Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz on the same team.
Yeah.
That was special, JP.
No, truly special for us to watch. It was special for Coach Jay Johnson to be a part of. He keeps kind of, remembering the last year's team. But look, in that press conference to wrap up fall ball, I understand. Even though I'm a baseball guy, baseball is boring to watch. So look, a lot of people tuning in outside of Baton Rouge aren't really big on college baseball. Coach Jay Johnson loves the sport. He gets fired up talking about it. He loves every aspect, player development, player amenities, what he can get for his players at the facility. It just turns him on. He gets gassed up about it, and he is fired up about this season. Yes, they lose Skeens and Cruz and Morgan and a plethora, 13 draft picks, which is an SEC record. SEC baseball, as you'll hear Coach Jay Johnson say, is on another planet than everywhere else in the country. And to win the national championship, bounce back, return guys like Tommy Tanks, Hayden Stravinsky, there's a lot of momentum building for this 2024 season. And once you guys hear from head coach talking about loose about the depth chart, some of the pitchings, a great freshman in Cam Johnson that's going to be outstanding from the left side. Here is head coach, defending champion head coach, Jay Johnson, right here on Tigers Roar.
Good to see everybody. Excited to have the fall practice period wrapped up. I think it was very valuable for our team. Good transition, obviously coming off the national championship and setting our course, for this team and this year in 2024. I learned a lot about our team. I feel like we're in a good spot to now turn the corner. They need to do a good job finishing up final exams and then move into this December period where they have to take a lot of individual ownership in their development. Feel like we have good plans, good paths for guys, and it's about time for them to get a little breather and come back ready to go in January. And really excited for the 2024 season and the challenges that's going to present.
Hey, Coach, right up here up front. I know last year, you could pencil in Dylan Cruz and Trey Morgan, Jordan Thompson. Is there anybody that you've learned this fall that you'd be able to pencil in on the position side? And if not, what do you like about that challenge to figure out come springtime?
Yeah, I think there's certainly some of that. I think when I think about from the position player side of it, the things that I feel great about at this point is I think it's harder to picture any program in the country have a better catching situation than we do. To have three players that all had significant playing time, on a national championship, Omaha caliber team and positively contributed to winning the way we did with Alex and Hayden and Brady. And all those guys are in a really good spot right now. I feel like there's a path and, a way for all of them to make a positive contribution, between Alex behind the plate with his defensive skills, improving offense, team leadership. I don't think you could overstate how important he was at the end of the season, especially in Omaha. We won all 5 games that he started behind the plate in Omaha. I don't think we get to Omaha without Hayden and his offensive contribution. I think he's taken a nice step forward in his development. Obviously throwing, really good. He's kind of one of those guys that I think is poised to have a lot of success this year, and we're number one team in the country the entire time Brady was a starting catcher until he got hurt. So feel good about that. I think kind of moving around the field. Jared Jones, good freshman season. I mean, to hit 300 and hit 14 home runs. Going through the majority of the SEC schedule. We obviously kind of went in a different direction in the postseason with what we're doing, but really excited about him. Feel strongly that our players make their biggest jump between their first and second year in a program. I think he's primed to do that. Around the infield, Michael Braswell, as of today is clearly going to play shortstop. Like, that's not even a conversation or a question. Probably one of the biggest highlights of the fall has been his development from day one. We changed everything offensively and feel like he's in a really good spot. He led our team in hitting, had a few home runs. Tommy, obviously coming back at third. He missed the fall due to the shoulder surgery at the end of the World Series. I mean, immediately. He heard it in Game 1 of the season and really toughed that thing out, for the entire season. For him to play defense as well as he did last year, and basically stay on the field with the significance of that injury was remarkable, and I think speaks a lot to his toughness. In a really good spot right now in terms of his recovery, I guess, if you will. He's back in his hitting program, hitting live. We've started the running, and I think when both of those things are stabilized, he'll begin throwing, and fully expect him to be ready to do everything by opening day. So obviously when he's at full health, we know what we have there, which in my opinion is the best hitter in the country. And then in the outfield, probably the deepest position on the team. I don't know about slotting guys in and saying this is a for sure, but much like Jared, I think Paxton Kling did a good job at times last year. I think all those guys were a little bit of a victim of being on one of the best position player teams in college baseball history. That's just what that was. Excited about his development. Feel like we've found some things here recently, late fall, that's going to help get him to another level as a player. Jake Brown as a freshman that has really stood out. If you're asking me for something that I'm really happy about, that's something I'm really happy about. Speed, dynamic player, left-handed hitter, can do a lot of things to help us win. Mac Bingham, good transfer from Arizona. Obviously, coached him for 2 years to know what we have there. And there's some guys right along the periphery. Josh Pearson obviously is a player I trust a lot. We've bounced him around between the outfield and second base, and there's certainly more guys. There's a lot more to be decided, between now and opening day. So we're not in that place last year where you felt like, hey, these 5 or 6 guys are going to play.
And that was head baseball coach of the LSU Tigers, Jay Johnson, now in year 3, the defending world champs. But man, the year ended on such a high note. Paul Skeens, Dylan Cruz, the ring ceremony was phenomenal, such a celebration. Now you get back to work. You had some scrimmages, have picked up some big pitching for the Tigers, which, you lose Paul Skeens, the best pitcher in the nation. You got to refill the cupboard. LSU has done a great job getting some young guys and some transfer talent, but, man, look for Jay Johnson to, again, make some noise in the SEC.
By the way, in that purple and gold game, Hayden Travinsky, captain of one team, Alex Milazzo, captain of the other. Wrap it up. We hope all of you have a safe and blessed Thanksgiving.
Yep.
I can't come up with a score right now. No, it's Tuesday before this game, 11 o'clock. I expect them to start slow. A&M's got a better defense, but you would hope that when it's all said and done, Jaden Daniels and the Tigers find a way to prevail.
Yep.
And JP, your final comments. LSU 9-3. Your grades real quick on if they go 9-3 and win this game.
Yeah, you got to win 10 games for it to be a positive grade. I think, in my opinion, Jaden Daniels don't want to waste his outstanding season. Got to get to 10 wins, including that bowl game. Coach Brian Kelly. That's what the building blocks are of building a consistent powerhouse. If you want to compete with the Alabamas and Georgias, you got to win 10 games this season. We certainly wish you guys a happy Turkey Day, happy Thanksgiving. Remind those you love that you're thankful for them, and say a big prayer for the man upstairs, and thank him for all the blessings he gives you. Thank you for watching Tigers Roar. Catch us on YouTube at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. From Marty, our floor director, Katie and 18 the truck, we certainly appreciate you watching this episode of Tigers Roar.